Hello everyone and welcome to this module of International Certificate course on micro irrigation systems. Today we are going to discuss about emerging technologies in micro irrigation systems and I'm going to take a specific topic in that. I am Tushar Karande and I'm working as a manager of digital farming solutions at Netafim India. For about 9 years now and across different forums, business development, marketing, project management, and of late into digital farming. I have worked into product management, the go-to-market, the customer requirements, the concept to launch the beta site specifically on digital farming. And today I'm going to share you about mostly about around that itself. And it's a pleasure to be a part of this and let's move ahead. So what we're going to discuss is that yes, we are understanding about micro irrigation systems and we are going to see that in different modules. But today what we are going to see is uh, what is ahead of my drip irrigation systems or micro irrigation systems. What are the emerging technologies over and above that, and I'll be discussing that. I will touch upon the digital farming component, specifically in irrigation and fertigation, the components in it, and the benefits across that. So let's see one of this. And all this what I'm sharing is of personal experience and what we have seen and observed on customer fields, and there would be different experiences across, but I'm sharing what is my perspective and our thinking as Netafim in this emerging technologies of micro irrigation systems. So let's move ahead. So everybody is aware of micro irrigation system, the drip irrigation systems. It has a filter, a pump, a water source, and a dosing system, and venturi, some valves, laterals, submains, mains. So everybody is aware of all this. So flush valves, uh, connectors, and all that. So everybody is aware of that, and I'm just going to reiterate in this couple of slides on what are the advantages of micro irrigation system. So while we move forward, this micro irrigation systems or drip irrigation systems have evolved over the period of times, and you can see this is one of the pictures of the first dripper in the world, and you can see that the dripper itself has changed in the past 50-55 years, and over the period of time such technologies have gone and supported the farmers, and this technology is moving ahead and ahead, and today we are going to discuss the advanced part of drip irrigation systems, specifically irrigation and fertigation. So everybody is aware of advantages of drip irrigation, that it helps to save water, increase yield, better quality, saving fertilizer, saving electricity, saving labor, and all this. And I'm going to show you a couple of animations which help you to understand more in specifically irrigation and fertigation. How does it impact the water and fertilizer application to the soil? So you can see this, that as against flood irrigation versus drip irrigation, how do we see the impact of water to the root zone? In flood irrigation, if it is a normal 40-50 day cycle, you have full amount of water in the first cycle, and then the plants are full and the root zone is full of water, and then afterwards the water drains down, and then afterwards very less water. So it is full water and very much less water at the end of the 14-day cycle. So while against in drip irrigation systems, you can see that we are giving water to the root zone, what is required on daily or alternate day basis, and hence we are agronomically doing the better way and also saving water, because the quantum of water is very less on daily basis. So you can see field capacity, wilting point, field capacity, wilting point. As against in drip irrigation, we are keeping it to the 50% of water holding capacity. And that is one of the advantages of drip irrigation. Similarly, in fertigation, you can see as against when we do fertigation in flood irrigation, what we call a broadcasting, as against what we do the fertigation and drip irrigation, you can see that there is much more fertilizer saving, there is better fertilizer use efficiency, fertilizer application efficiency. While against fertigation and drip irrigation, you can see that we are giving fertilizer to the root zone, so it is not wasted, and also the use efficiency is far, far, far better than that of flood irrigation. And also it helps to prevent the salination of the soils. So what we're talking is giving water and root zone, water to the root zone and fertilizer to the root zone. Also, we know that the more water we give, the good it is. So over the period of time, it is helping the plant. After some time, there is no impact on the plant, and then afterwards there is diminishing law of return, and afterwards it actually impacts the growth of the plant itself. So we should be aware that how much water and fertilizer we need to give, and hence systems have come up that you can leverage maximum out of drip irrigation systems, micro irrigation systems, and hence the part which I'm going to explain further today is the automation part, which helps you to identify uh, the perfect ideal target of giving how much water, how much time, and when to give, and it would be precise nutrition which will help us to increase profits, reduce our mistakes and risk while using the micro. Also, that's one of the agronomic part, but it is also pertaining to the way which farming has been done in the past couple of decades. Now we could see an example in India. Our grandfathers used to walk into the field. Now, then afterwards, people used to cycle. Now, every normal farmer has a normal motorcycle to go to the field. Does this imply that farmers have become much, much more prosperous, or does it imply that motorcycles prices have come down? No. Thing is ease and quality of life and the convenience in farming. So it's not that the farmers want to do only uh, only all the efforts. They want to do it in a convenient way, and hence such systems, these emerging technologies of automation and digital farming, help him to do farming in a convenient way. And also we know the factor of moving from telephones to mobile phones to WhatsApp. Not all the farmers are using smartphones, but a lot of them are increasing, and the trend is increasing day by day. So that is one of the parts of quality of life, convenience of life, to do farming in a much more effortless way to get maximum growing more from the much less efforts. That's one of thing. One more change what we observed is that how do we turn on our motors. So of late we have seen in this couple of 4 or 5 years, we have seen that people are able to switch on and off their motor just by giving a missed call, and it's a simple SIM card which does the job. And this is one of the trends what we saw in terms of opening and closing our motors in the past 4 or 5 years, and such technologies are coming up over the period of time, and this sector or this farmers are getting acquainted to the new technology pertaining to irrigation and fertigation. And hence my point, while we are talking of irrigation, we should be aware that we are talking about flood, drip, and should start thinking about what is next of drip irrigation, or what is over and above of drip irrigation. It would be complementing to the drip irrigation system which we are, how we can leverage the maximum of drip irrigation. That is the objective we call as digital farming, that is helping the farmers take better decisions of irrigation and fertigation, and getting much more value from per hectare basis, better yields, higher yields, lower cost, higher profits, better functionality and ease of use. That all can be done with the role of digital farming. While in drip irrigation we are talking about growing more with less, let us grow more yields with less water, less fertilizer. The digital farming role is growing much more than much less. So if you are able to save 30-40% water in drip irrigation, how we can save 5%, 10% more than that in digital farming? That is the objective of emerging technologies, or the digital farming, which we are going to discuss today. And why this irrigation and fertigation is important is that once you sow a field to the harvest, you sow a field one time, and before that you do the plant preparation. Then afterwards at the end you harvest it with maybe ratoons or maybe a couple of harvest. But once from the planting to the harvesting, the two things which you need to do constantly is giving water and nutrients to the plant, and in some cases preventive is the crop protection. So 70 to 80% of our crop cycle is the irrigation and fertigation. That is where it is a regular thing, and the farmer needs to carry on these activities in a regular basis. And we feel that these are where the farmer takes these things lightly. He tends to postpone things, tends to do it not so more precise way. And the objective of this, that automation will help him to automate the regular same mundane things on regular basis, so that he need not look into the other factors. And that is why we believe the automation in irrigation and fertigation is an important aspect. Also, when we go into automation, there are three parameters or three aspects wherein automation can be related about. First is the monitoring part, that is getting all the data and analytics in terms of what is happening in my field, what is happening to my water, fertilizer, what is the flow, what is the pressure, can I stop it, and everything is monitoring is one aspect. The second is control. That means not only I'm able to see what is happening, but I'm able to also control it through from one device, everything what is happening pertinent to irrigation and fertigation. That is the second aspect. The third aspect, which is the most important and which is emerging, is the decision support of thinking and recommendations, which is the analyze from the data sets which are provided to the system. It will be regarding the crop, the weather, the the flow, the pressure of the system, the electricity of the system, can we able to recommend to the farmer that yes, this is the irrigation and fertigation schedule and we are going to see a part of it. So that is about the third aspect, which is analyze or think and recommend and giving better decisions to the farmer. That is the third aspect of irrigation. Now, when we see of automation, these are the five aspects that we see. One is the control. Second is the dosing, that is the nutrition, which we are giving to automate. The third is the interface or the management or the user interface. The farmer is going to see everything. The third aspect, the fourth aspect is the sensing, the sensors which are going to deploy on the field and check different parameters. And the fifth is the analytics of recommendations, the software, the imagery, and we are going to touch a little bit upon that as well. So the farmer over and above drip irrigation system can control it, can give nutrition in an automated way, can see it in a platform, can put add-on sensors and get much more analytics from the softwares and imagery and recommendations. What does he see? And we're going to see one by one each of them. When a farmer says, I want to do basic irrigation and fertigation automation, these are the aspects on the operation side. What does he mean? Is opening and closing the motor automatically, opening and closing the valves automatically, filter flushing. We know one of the pain points of drip irrigation is that how we can filter flush whenever there is pressure differentiation or a regular period of time. So so filter flushing it after specific periods or after differential pressure, automating the program or the fertigation based on the programs which you provide, adding sensors to our field or greenhouses based on irrigation, based on the moisture, the temperature, humidity, fogging, on all these aspects. The sixth aspect is of remote access. Can we do everything remotely from a mobile phone, away from the fields, in our houses, in our offices? And the last aspect is about data logging. Is can we download the data and download it and see it? So this all can be done in automation, in irrigation and fertigation. When the farmer says, I want to automate my irrigation fertigation, these are the basic things which we can do. And we're going to see one by one, and let's see the components in each of them. The first component is the controller. No system will be called an automation system if it does not have a controller. If he wants to have a dosing system or a fertigation system, and then we have the dosing system which is called the fertigation. The third aspect is the accessories, which is the over and above what we provide is the water meter, the valves, the EL valves, the different kind of valves which we give with drip irrigation. Because it is electronic items, we need to have safety equipments, and the safety equipments for the electronic items is one of the components. The wireless, if the systems has through different fields and there is a road in between, there is something else, we can have wireless equipments also in our automation system, and the sensors if required. The controller, the accessories and the safety equipments are compulsory part of the system. The dosing system, the wireless and the sensors is add-on. If the farmer wants it, he can use it, or he can do away with that system as well. Based on his requirement and based on his need, he can put up all these components whatever he wants it. Now, if you take a simple example of a sugarcane farmer, a normal drip irrigation farmer has such valves, such ball valves, and during the day he goes and closes one, opens the other, and do it every 1 or 2 hours based on what is his irrigation schedule. While this is easy doing it during the day because he's already into the field doing some or the other activity. But imagine if it is night and the electricity is during the light during the night, and the farmer has to go into the field and during the night, and how can he change the valves, and on 2 hour basis will he sleep or not, and such factors come into the play. And for that we have this automation systems wherein the valves are automated, and all he needs to do is just give a program and need not to go here and check if the valve is open or not. Just on basis of time, volume or sensor based, it will be open and close. And such advantages of simple operations of a system the farmer can observe. While we see the automation itself has different stages of automation. One is the basic filter flushing automation, wherein he's just able to automate the filter flushing over the period of over the specific intervals, and that is the most basic ones. The second, which I showed you, was irrigation valve automation, wherein he's able to just open and close the valve over the period of time. And the third aspect is the fertigation part. So he's able to filter flush, he's able to open and close the valves, and he's also able to fertigate it automatically. While this is common in India, the below part are something which is evolving, and specifically India and Southeast Asia, is the wireless automation. So can we have instead of wires, can we have wireless systems running up to the valves with just RTUs? The second is, can we add more and more sensors of ECPH, moisture sensors, temperature, humidity? The third aspect is about the satellite imagery. Can I see which part of my field is not growing well, and everything? And all these factors bundled up into a remote access. I'm able to see all these parameters remotely in a better way, and that is what we can see here. And this is wherein the farmer, based on his requirements, based on his crop, based on his budget, he will be investment, he will be able to adopt one of this or all of this of automation in his field, which is over and above his drip irrigation systems. Now, what are the advantages? If you could see in this is able to have much more accuracy in irrigation and fertigation. He has long-term cost reduction, precise fertigation and water management, quality produced, cost-effective and efficient, saving water and energy, optimizing irrigation, flexible schedule management, reducing labor cost, uniform growth and maturity, maximize the crop yield, large scale management if he wants to have a big amount of field, uh, data analysis and decision making, and finally peace of mind that whatever command he has been giving, it has been seen and observed in a better way, and what he expects, it can be. Now we'll just touch upon one part of it. The first part is the controllers. The controller is the key part wherein you have to put in all the systems based on the features, based on the inputs, outputs, how many analog, how many digital. You can have a couple of them. This is a large NetBeat or a small NetBeat, or one of the systems which we provide. So one is the controller part. The second is the dosing systems. So the part which actually automates the fertigation part is called dosing systems, and you can see here we have the dosing part here. You can automate the fertigation in this. The second is about the monitoring part, the wireless part, which we can see here. And then we have the platforms, and how does the farmer see the data into the system. That is what we can see. You can see that he's able to see what is irrigating, what is not irrigating. Then the next part is about the sensors, what kind of sensors, different sensors he can put in, maybe hydraulic sensors, weather stations, soil moisture sensors, plant sensors like dendrometers. All this he can see into the system, and what we're going to touch on base. The next aspect is about analytics. What kind of analytics he is able to see the information of the sensors, the flow, the trend of the sensors, the satellite imagery and all other aspects you can see through the analytics. So to take all this, I would like to take you through one of the systems which Netafim provides. It is one of the platforms which includes the hardware and the software, and we call it Netafim NetBeat. Just like your heartbeat, you are able to gauge the systems, the field systems in that. What we call the NetBeat is the first irrigation system brain, which can monitor, analyze, and control. Your irrigation systems. So this evolves or involves two aspects. One is the software part, and the second is the hardware part. The hardware part is on the field, which is the controller, the RTUs, the sensors, and all this part. And all this data of controllers has been sent to the cloud. And on the cloud, we see all the data of agronomic and hydraulic data is being stored, and the farmer is able to access it, get the analytics, and control it. And that is the components which we have, hardware and the software. What are the 5 different things which makes NetBeat innovative, or any of the systems which is an indication of the best in the industry, is that it is able to integrate real-time monitoring, smart analysis, and control in one closed loop platform. So all the irrigation and fertigation, both control, monitor, and analyze is been put into one closed platform, and the farmer is able to see all of them in one screen itself. The second is the crop models. So basis on your crop, basis on your weather information, basis on the stage, basis on your soil, it is able to recommend you what is the irrigation and fertigation, and give the recommendations on that on the next 7 days. The third aspect is, because it is a software and we are able to monitor it remotely, we are able to integrate third parties. So if there is any other data which you want to integrate, we can do through that. And there is regular software and updates and support which has been required. The fourth is, it is very simple and intuitive. Basic English words of valve, on, off, motor, what, when, where is been involved, so that farmer who is able to use smartphones is able to use this very effectively. And the fifth aspect we're going to touch on upon is that all this is being not for the high-end or the farmers who want the commercially supreme systems, but also for basic farmers who want to leverage such systems for the simple thing as well. So let's also see how does it see an extension over. So we have the controller here with the dosing system. This is being wirelessly connected to the RTUs. The RTUs, you have the system components, the sensors, what you can put in, and everything is being connected to RF, radio frequency, LoRa technology. All this data has been put into the cloud, and in the cloud we have external sources like weather information, satellite imagery, and it has been put into this system, and the farmer is able to see what is happening on the field, plus also what is there into the internet or in the cloud pertaining to this field. It would be weather, satellite imagery, and everything. So farmer on his mobile or desktop interface is able to see what is happening on the field, and what is there onto the on the cloud pertaining to the system. Of course, provided there is internet and he is able to access the system. Let us see how one of the systems of how does it work.
We're proud to present Netafim NetBeat, the only fully integrated irrigation management solution able to combine monitoring, controlling, and optimization in real time. It all begins with standard sensors in the field that measure and collect data about soil, plant, and water conditions. Data from the field also includes readings of pressure and flow in the pipes. The data they collect is transmitted through a central field unit to the main control unit. This transmission is done using advanced low-power radio communications up to 10 kilometers in range. The main control unit is an independent, intelligent multi-line unit that can manage irrigation and nutrigation programs. It can communicate via cellular, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. The main control unit sends real-time data from the field to a unique cloud solution. The cloud contains more than 50 years of agronomical and hydraulic knowledge. Simultaneously, the cloud receives data from external sources such as weather forecast and satellite images. The cloud then analyzes all this data and converts it into optimal irrigation recommendations and alerts that are sent directly to the farmer's smartphone with a simple, user-friendly interface. Now the farmer can make a decision and deploy concrete actions in real time. This decision is transmitted back to the main controller to operate valves and dosing units based on the optimized recommendations. The actions are executed even in the most remote field units using the advanced low-power radio. This unique integrated solution guarantees the farmer optimized use of resources, maximized yield, profitability, and ultimately, peace of mind of knowing the crop is growing optimally year after year. Netafim NetBeat. Prepare for tomorrow, today.
So this is one of the systems and which we are offering, and you can see that it has a combination of hardware, software.
We're proud to present
in that. The second aspect is of the dosing system. So while we have this dosing systems, these are the venturies. So at one point of time, you are able to inject fertilizers into the system. Now, what does the controller specifically do is it takes all these inputs and works on this output. So whether it be water quantity, fertilizer, and this is a standard slide which we see across. When this is the water quantity. So if I say I have 20,000 liters to be given in wall number 2, so this controller takes this data and operates on the valves, and there is data processing inbuilt in that. And the objective of this data, the controller, is to data process, take the data and work on the outputs. So based on the different types, we have different types of controller. First is the time-based controller, wherein it is one of the most cheapest controllers into the market, and it is very easy to program and operate. The only thing is that if there is electricity failure, there is no feedback on whether it is actually working, what is the flow and everything. and that is one of the, but it is one of the basic cheap ones which we have. The second aspect is the volume based. The only aspect which you need to have is a controller for is a water meter for it, and based on the water meter you are able to check how much water is gone and how much water is still pending to go into that into the valve. And you can see here that the water meter not only gives the amount of water but also detects flow variation like low, high flow in that. The third aspect which is now coming up, while though it is rare in countries like India, is the sensor based. So based on the sensor, we are able to detect and execute the need of the program, or the need or triggering the program based on the values of the sensors. And we are able to see that we can put sensors, and based on the values we are able to trigger. So this is the third aspect, and here what we need is electricity, constant electricity, so that whenever there is a trigger, there is the program is the mode. So this was about the sensors. You can see one of the sensor systems been put here, and you can see that across that. I was mentioning about gravel filter, and you can see a basic gravel filter can be done like this, that you have a normal controller, a basic controller, and it has been connected to the backflush valves, and it is just reversing the flow, and you are able to clean the gravel filters, media filters, sand filters by just reversing the frequency uh, in this slide. So we switch off this and you are able to do it, reverse it, and all the dirt goes outside. You can see it again. So this is the filter flushing part. This is one of the basic automations farmers can do. Okay. The second is the about controllers. As I said about NetMCU controller, this is one of the controller which is multi-main line. It fits to all farm sizes. You have regular farm updates. You have the Wi-Fi, cellular, Bluetooth connected to it, and it can be IP65. Uh, so that was a controller. And while we see about the dosing systems, we have different kinds of dosing systems, like it would be Venturis, fertilizer tanks, or electric dosing pumps. But what we are going to discuss is the automatic dosing systems, wherein you are able to automate them, and we'll see what are the clear advantages of such systems over and above the conventional systems. Is that the dosing can be done in a bulk way, in a spread way, time way, or quantity or proportional quantity based. While in Venturis, the conventional Venturis or fertilizer tanks, it is done on the bulk basis, and whatever is the fertilizer you want to give it just one way and directly use it. In case of this, you can do it bulk wise. You have all the three Venturis. You can give bulk wise, you can give it spread wise, like 2 minutes of water, 1 minute of fertilizer, 2 minutes of water, 1 minute of fertilizer. Or the third aspect can be quantity based, or the fourth aspect, which is the most important and the most advantage in this aspect, is the proportional quantity. That means for every 1,000 liter of water, how much liters of fertilizer you want to give. And you can see in this case that for every 1 meter cube you want 2 liters, 3 liters, and you can put it. And hence in this way you're able to give uniform fertilizer application to the dosing to the plants through dosing channels. So that is one of the advantages. And you can see a different animation here. You'll see first irrigation, and then afterwards you can see the nutrition. In this case, you see normal fertigation is going on. You can see in this all the tanks are getting filled, and then afterwards it will be injected by the dosing system. So you can see that in the nutrition, the red line, the water has been, the fertilizer has been injected into the main line, and you can see one goes back to check the EC and pH, and hence it can be monitored. The EC can be monitored and the pH can be controlled based on. So this is the basic operations wherein you can see fertigation and irrigation together automatically. Yes, so there are different machines for different dosing, and you can see here there are we have basic, which is a single channel, then there is a multi-channel, then there is something which are suited for greenhouses. So based on the crop, based on the size, based on the sensitivity of the crop, or the farmer's investment, he can able to adopt our systems. I'm showing you a brief of all the dosing systems here in this video. So this is one of the things which is called it has an analog dosing ball, and this is precise for greenhouse crops. So this was about the different dosing systems you can see which are there, and farmers are using it. And the Ferticate is the popular ones. So this is a typical system you can see, which has a controller, a dosing unit, a fertigation, gravel filter, the fertilizer tanks, the agitator, the air valve, the water meter, the small valves. This is a simple irrigation room layout and you can see that how the farmers are using it here. This is nearby Pune. Then there are basic fertigation. If the farmer says, okay, I don't want to go with the complex system, I want to go with a simple system, you can use such systems which are suitable for medium to small farmers who are basic small for sugarcane kind of crops. You can see these are being fitted simply, and the farmers can use it whenever he wants it. For the dosing system, simple, basic, taking all the advantages of automation in this. A second, the third aspect I wanted to share you about is the ECPH. I was talking about sensors. The ECPH is a critical aspect because we need to check what is the EC and pH of our water and what is it is going to change after we add fertilizer. And hence we can know that plants do not grow in seawater because it's very high EC there. And same is for the pH, that we need to have a normal pH. For the plant growth, 5.5 to 8, roughly 6.5 to 8 is a good range for an ideal range for the plant growth. And if it goes below or above that, it would be hampering the plant growth as well in terms of nutrient deficiencies. And that's why we need to keep our EC and pH within the range which is suitable. So also research was done on the same variety, same everything, but for different EC, you can see that agronomically the clearly difference can be seen at different EC, how much the plant responses, and for the pH different plant absorption rates for different pH, and hence we need to think the critical aspect of EC and pH while dosing also. So while we are giving fertilizer, it's not only about automation of giving automatically, but also checking it if it has been done qualitatively, and whatever is been going to the plants is been going what has been actually required. The aspect of sensors, you can add sensors to your field, which can be soil moisture sensors, environmental sensors, general sensors of ECPH, plant sensors, or hydraulic sensors. And we can see that there can be soil sensors like different types of moisture sensors, tensiometers, NetACAP, hydrometers, and like this. For environmental, we can have the weather station. We are going to see one of the weather station, or temperature and humidity. General, which I showed you about the ECPH or drain management systems. And for the plant, it would be leaf wetness or dendrometers, which we can see. And for the plants, for the water, what is the pressure and what is the flow of water, what we are going to see, we can see across. Why it is required is because we want to check how much is going, the irrigation scheduling, the pest and disease control, the harvesting planning, and other things. And you can see that once we get the graph, we are able to save much more water and check the response of the plants on the basis of how much water we are applying. So these are the different types of fertilizers which we see. You can see different sensors, different this is the tensiometers, this is the more accurate SM150 delta T sensors, the NetACAP, which is able to give you moisture sensor level at 6 levels. And we have the weather station. By the way, the NetBeat also has this is the weather station, and IBM can help you to give you weather forecast on satellite based on the latitude longitude you mark. This is available inbuilt in the NetBeat, and you can directly see what is there. Otherwise, you can have a more microclimatic by using a weather station. Then there are hydraulic solutions like water meter. We are able to check the water meter flow, and it is high flow or low flow. See this graph. The one more aspect is the NetBeat also has the dynamic crop models, that is based on which crop, what is the stage, you are able to give. So what is the output? Is the output is a 7-day irrigation and fertigation plan, which is calibrated according to your field and your crop and what the system do we have. See here that how does it work, that based on what is the weather information, what is the weather there, we are able to check that into the system. The data has been adjusted by the sensors data what we have, the satellite imagery what we have, and the irrigation or the flow what we have, and also what is the model what we use, on what stage the crop is and how much water it will be requiring at that stage, followed by the root zone, what will be the soil and other things, and then finally it will recommend you please irrigate this much, and that is the requirement at your crop and this field and that, and all this model again works it across, and it is in a loop flow which updates its model on the basis, and it would be daily or once in 2 days, 3 days, on whatever you define. It can be done in that. And of course, it is based on one of the basic formulas, which is ETO into KC is equals to ETC. And it is help us to identify the crop water requirement at a specific stage. This is one of
Today, everybody's talking about data. The question is, how do you make it work for you? NetBeat, the first irrigation and fertigation control system that allows farmers to leverage their data and maximize their farm's true potential. At the core of NetBeat lies the dynamic crop models, a decision support engine that generates smart irrigation and fertigation recommendations 100% tailored to your crop and your field. How does it work? The dynamic crop model tracks the plant's developmental stage based on crop physiology models. It then recalibrates itself according to actual and forecasted environmental data from multiple sources such as weather, soil, crop sensors, and remote imagery. The model computes itself daily, ensuring recommendations are optimized for each grower's specific need and environment. The output is an accurate and customized 7-day irrigation and fertigation plan, precisely calibrated to take into account the specific needs of your crop within its life cycle. For the first time in irrigation history, AI-based algorithms are able to create tangible value for data on a daily basis, helping farmers to grow better crops while making much better use of their resources. Stop talking about data, start putting it to work for you. NetBeat Dynamic Crop Models, the first irrigation system with a brain.
So that is about there. While all the factors or what I've shared seem to be there, and one of the questions arises is that farmer would be able to use the system or not. But this is one of the examples wherein we personally observed is that the father farmer also first started using it, and then afterwards the son started using it. This is one example that though it seems to be complex and whether the farmer can use it, but the farmer, if he feels the value, if he feels the value in it, he will use it and learn it, and with by just basic English words which is often using like motor, he can easily do it across. This is I want to mention that what I have discussed is very simple and easy to operate, and that has been defined as such so that the farmer will be able to operate it there. So thank you all. I hope you all liked the overalls the module. As I said, this is on my personal and professional experience and what Netafim has projected, and of course there would be different experiences, but I would like to share this as my perspective and what we have observed as Netafim in the field over this past few years of emerging technologies in micro irrigation. Thank you.